And in fact, there's quite a big literature on self-assessment to suggest that in many cases it's actually quite reliable, quite accurate, that learners are capable of self-assessing themselves quite accurately. I'll give my answer very briefly to this, and then maybe there's some other people that would like to speak on it, because I think it's an interesting issue. Assessment in any course can be direct or indirect. Direct assessment is where you want to assess whether they have learned new vocabulary, learned new grammar. You want to assess their actual knowledge of the language system and whether they have gained any knowledge of the language system through the course that you have taught them. And that's direct assessment, because you're directly assessing their linguistic competence. We all know how to do that. Right? You do it through vocabulary tests and grammar tests, etc. The other way is to use a more indirect approach, and in task-based teaching, this would mean using for assessment purposes the same kinds of tasks that you actually used when you were teaching, to see to what extent they were able to perform these tasks successfully. Now, tasks can be open or they can be closed. The closed task is a task that has in effect, a single outcome. And obviously, closed tasks are very convenient when it comes to assessment. So one way that one might want to assess learners using a task would be, for example, to give them a map of a small town and say, I'm going to describe a route on it, and I want you to draw the route in on the map. And then you can assess to what extent they have accurately drawn in the route on the map. So that is a sort of indirect method of assessment. And I think that in task-based teaching, there is a case for both direct assessment, assessing to what extent their linguistic systems have improved, and also for indirect assessment using tasks, in particular closed tasks.